Today is June 30th, 2023, the last day of June. I'm at the Elm Avenue Town Park. It's been quite the week. Again on Monday, I almost got stuck in the elevator. This time with the director of the Assembly Republicans. And I was like, oh. The door did open up. It was a couple awkward 30 or 40 seconds. And then I started taking the stairs. So all week I've been doing the stairs up 18 floors, up and down twice a day, once in the morning, once at lunchtime, and then obviously going down at the end of the day. It's not been bad. It's helped make the week go by quicker. Tuesday, I went to a protest slash rally in front of Gillen Town Hall, opposing the Costco's. They're getting a bigger tax write-off by the ADA. Um, but I did my part to try to fight that development. I can be somewhat political, but I don't want to be too political because of my job and everything. The other thing I've been thinking about a lot is the bicycle thing. I was gonna repair my bike, but I think I'm gonna buy it. Either I'm gonna go to the store tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have the used bike store and used bike event, and I can buy a used bike. Although I'm actually now looking at a mid-range new bike possibly, just because I want to be able to get on the road and be able to bike to work. There's so many great bike paths around, and it's an investment. And there's always some risk. I mean, I always worry about what happens if the bike gets stolen 2 days after I bought it, or it breaks down, or something terrible happens. But that's kind of silly. I mean, anything could happen. It could turn out to be a complete lemon, but sometimes you just have to take a risk. I'm looking at bikes. I see one that I actually kind of like that I know the local store has. Um, and I'd rather go to Mad Dog than to Down Tube just because it's closer. If I have problems, I can take it back there and they can service it and whatever. And they should have all the parts and stuff because that's their brand that they service. It is a lot of money. It's not going to be the most expensive bike ever. It's going to be just a mid-range, not a cheapo bike that I end up getting. But I'm gonna look used, but I like everything. Sometimes uses come and go. I want to get from a bike shop just because I can read about bikes and learn about them, but I'm not a bike mechanic. And I tried my hand at repairing my bike that I currently have, and it's just not worked out well. Um, I just I don't understand all the mechanics. I can read a book, but if and I was hoping some help from the Albany Bicycle Rescue, but they weren't there that day. I'm just frustrated. Just kind of keep spending time trying to figure out this bicycle thing and reading and studying. It's good to learn stuff, but I'm not a mechanic. I got to take it somewhere to have it repaired, to have it done correctly. And there's a lot to bicycles. They are quite mechanically complex because you need them to ride smoothly and run well because you're a lot closer physically to it than to like a car is. So, I mean, a car is a bigger safety issue. A car, on the other hand, it's not a comfort issue because if the engine runs rough in a car, it might leave you stranded, might break down, but it's not going to make you uncomfortable because a car is going to be comfortable however. But a bicycle, if it's not in good adjustment, not only could it break down, but it can be very uncomfortable and bad for you, especially if you're doing a trip. And I mean, part of the reason I have a bicycle is to travel more. I mean, most of my trips are gonna be local. I mean, I want to have it so I can do quick runs to the grocery store, go to local parks quickly in the evening. And then I want to be able to do lots of bike trails because now there's just more and more bike trails opening up locally. They're nice, smooth blacktop things. I mean, from my house, I can ride on the road for a half mile, and then I have at least 15 miles of bike trails that are all separate from the roads, all paved. And if I hop on the road a little bit further, I can get back on the full Erie Canal Trail, and then there's miles and miles I can ride. All the buses have bike racks too. Another thing too is if I'm riding the bike to work, let's say 3 days a week during the summer, that saves no tough math. Saves $9 a week, which isn't a lot of money, but it adds up over time. I mean, I was looking at the numbers. I mean, I literally spend over $700 a year on bus fares just riding back and forth to work, which is a lot cheaper than gas and the wear and tear on my truck. But say nothing about the parking. I mean, the parking. If I were to have parking downtown, it'd be $60 a month. People are like, "Oh, you're the only director that doesn't have parking." But I'm like, I don't mind riding the bus. It saves money. I'd rather save my money and invest it for good things in the future. That said, Bicycle's a big purchase. I'm not get the most expensive bicycle. I have a mount that I have in my mind. It's not going to be a real high-end bicycle, but it's not going to be a cheapo bicycle if I go new. If I get used, it'll be even more affordable. But I'm starting to get realistic. Although I am hoping the bicycle store does have local store does have rebuilt bikes usually on sale on Saturday, so that's the first thing I'm gonna look at. If not, I will buy a new bike because I want to get on the road. I mean, the bike I have at home, I've wanted to get it fixed. The shop says it's not worthwhile fixing it. They did suggest I could try to wrench it myself, but I've been having a lot of trouble with that. It's been frustrating. And the summer is going away quickly now. It's July, and I want to have 2 good summer months for riding, and be able to ride in the fall. And just a bicycle really frees me up because I don't like driving around town. And it's like I can walk a lot of places, but walking is slow. I mean, there's only so much area you can walk comfortably, at a relatively quick pace from home. I mean, when I do those 20-mile hikes, that's pretty much a whole day thing versus 20 miles on a bicycle, a couple hours, if even that. I mean, when I have a bicycle now, if I want to go out to Five Rivers in the morning or even in the evening, it's a fairly quick trip out there on a bicycle versus walking. And I thought I was going to Five Rivers this evening, but just like by the time I got home, and I actually took the earlier bus home because they closed the office up earlier, but I didn't leave early because didn't want to use too much time, and I had still a little work stuff to do. Although it's kind of quiet today too. But yeah, I want to commit to a bicycle tomorrow, new or used, if at all possible. So hopefully I can take delivery of it next week. Um, I think I'll be able to pay for it out of checking, which would be nice if it's within the range I want to spend, which is not cheap, but it's under $1,000 I want to spend. Maybe preferably significantly less. I'm hoping to keep it under 800, and I think there are options. I look at what the most popular bicycles are from a bike shop in the lower to mid range. I don't want cheapo, but I want something that's quality that lasts and is durable components. But I also don't need the real high end stuff. I mean, I have a book about bicycle repair, and I've been reading what you need and what you don't. And there's a lot of things that are nice, and I'm sure if you're a professional cyclist, it shaves off weight, might be a little more comfortable. But I just want something that can reliably go, 10, 15 miles a day. Occasionally do bike paths, longer trips, but nothing, crazy. I'm not going to do a ride across the state at this point, I don't think. I just want to be able to explore what I can do further in a day than I can walk easily. I'm not going to take it off road at all. I mean, as off road as would be maybe like a dirt road like Pico Pally Road or some of the dirt roads at the Finger Lakes National Forest, but no trails. I'm going to just carry a chain and a lock, and I'd much rather walk through the woods than ride a bicycle because one of the nice about walking is a lot slower. You just see a lot more wildlife and nature. But on the other hand, a bicycle can get you to that trailhead a lot quicker. I mean, that's one thing I always hate about Moose River Plains, that Moose River Plains is so spread out, and you just spend all your time driving from place to place in your pickup truck trying to get to the trailheads. And I can tell you, my big jacked up truck on those dirt roads, that thing burns gas like no tomorrow on those. I mean, I get 3, 4 miles per gallon that truck when I go up to Moose River Plains, which one of I don't go up there anymore. That I don't want to beat the shit out of it and have parts fall off and then have to get towed 50, 60 miles and then have after finding someone who get me to a place where I have cell service. So yeah, I don't do Moose River anymore because of that. And yeah, well, I also just spend so much time at Moose River driving from place to place, which I don't like. But if I had a bicycle, I might be more willing to do that. Likewise, Pico Pally Road would be fantastic. I can, camp, even like at the House Pond campsite, and then, I could easily hike out to Pally Bridge or Gold Mine Street and Falls or any of the other trailheads, and bike there in hour, even do the whole road. That road's pretty flat except for that one section up the hill, and I mean the hill you can always just walk the bike up it. But yeah, and I said I'm not going to do it again, even though I could probably ride on those the like the old Edict Road. I wouldn't take the bike on that. I would park it because I don't want to risk damaging it. Especially because bikes are so expensive nowadays. I mean, even you know entry level to moderate level bikes, unless you get the cheapo department store bike, they're not. They're just not cheap. Although Flip side is I make a lot of money nowadays, and not a lot, but I make a good middle class income. My expenses are low, and if it's something I want to do, I should do it because I think it will make it a lot easier getting around the city. It'll be a lot of fun trips. And I mean, yeah, the bike won't last forever, and it'll need repairs, and it's a commitment of money and space, but it's something I want to do. Um, for Independence Day weekend, I wanted to get out camping. I think it's going to be very wet on Sunday. Maybe I'm wrong. I still keep it open to do a trip out to Schoharie this weekend, and I'll leave it on Saturday late, but I don't think so. I do want to get some sparklers and ground fireworks. You've probably seen on my blog, I've made a bunch of maps up of places that are selling them, and mostly I made them up because I wanted to know places near where I can go. Tomorrow, I want to get someplace and buy, I don't know, $30 worth of sparklers and fireworks. Not to light them off over the weekend. For one thing, it's illegal in Albany County, but more to save for later in the summer for camping. I mean, they'll last for quite a while, and I'll have some sparklers in for New Year's Eve wherever I'm camping. Maybe Rensselaerville State Forest for that trip. That might be fun on December 31st. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna move forward on the bicycle. I did actually replace the camp stove that was broke down. I had some gift certificates. I bought a basic stove from Dick's, another Coleman basic stove, but basically the same as what I have now. The one I have now is a um, Camp Chef. Thought about getting a bigger stove, but it's like I don't need a bigger stove. It would take up more space, it'd be less compact in my truck, and I might be getting a smaller truck in future years. If I want a big stove, eventually when I have my own land, I might want one for cooking outside, but I don't really need that for camping every day. I mean, the stove I have and this new stove is basically, it's a standard camp stove you put on top of a tabletop, and that's fine for cooking anything I want to cook within reason. I'm not really boiling big pots of water, and I'm actually doing less pasta now because I don't really eat so much pasta. But it would certainly be able to cook rice and veggies and pancakes and eggs and most normal camp meals. And I mean, the old one lasted for 7 years. It still works. The one burner works, but I've burned out. I mean, I had to replace the burners like 3 or 4 years ago, and then they burned out again, which was really annoying. I think part of it is because I store it in my truck in the winter, and then when I camp in the winter, things get wet and rusty, and the heat really is rough. I first started having a lot of trouble with the burners burning out after I camped in the winter in 2018 out at Finger Lakes National Forest. It was below freezing all week, but I had to turn the stove on and be cooking, and then things would boil over, and it wasn't good for the stove at any rate. So yeah, that's that. Just kind of moving forward. There's a lot of expenses, but I have the money, so I should just spend it. It's the summer. I want to get out and do things. I want to do this Finger Lakes trip camping last week of July, I'm thinking. It could change, but that's my tentative plan right now. We want to decide on the Finger Lakes ultimately was because there's some good bike trails out there. I was thinking originally about going out to the Tug Hill, camping up that way, and out by Speculator or out by I can't think of that big lake is out there, but number 4 road, and out by the horse camp there, and doing those trails in the Western Adirondacks. I might do that in the fall, though. It might be better for if I want to do some hunting in the fall. That could be a lot of fun to be out there. I want to try to start producing more of my own food if possible. But other than that, moving forward, and once I figure out this bike thing and I'm back on the road with that, I'll be very happy about that. So yeah, that's the week that was, and hopefully it won't be such a complete rain out this weekend. It would have been great to get out this weekend, but I might take off Friday and then head out of town Friday Friday through Monday. I might take off a couple of days, or maybe not. All depends what the weather's like. Well, that's where things are. Have a great week. I will probably post updates later on, both to the blog and maybe even some more vlogging. Have a great day.